Hi, welcome to Becky's Garden Paradise, and today I'm going to share one of my favorite ways to meal prep with you, and that is to make like a freestyle vegetable soup. So I think the best soups come when you're cleaning out the refrigerator and using up leftovers and different things that you have around the house. So I have my 7-quart crock pot. You could do it in a stock pot if you'd rather do it on the stove, if you don't have a crock pot. And what I like to do is make a batch of soup on the weekend, usually on Sunday, and then I take a little bit each day with me to work for my lunch, and it's an easy way to get a full meal in a bowl. So usually do some kind of vegetable soup. Depends on what leftovers I have and what produce I have. So if I have leftover meat from like spaghetti sauce or chili or pot roast or steak, you could even use cut up hamburgers from leftover from a cookout. If you have leftover chicken, you could make it like a chicken based soup. I don't have any leftover meat, so I'm just going to use a can of roast beef and beef broth that I do have. I did already put some leftover black beans that I cooked in a Mexican red chili sauce, and it has some onions and has a little bit of beef in that, so I already put that in the bottom of the crock pot. And then I'm going to go in with the fresh vegetables next. So I've chopped up a small head of cabbage, 1 onion, about 2 stalks of celery. You could put more if you wanted. And then I have some red shishito peppers that I let ripen so that I could save the seeds from those. So I'm just going to get these in the crock pot. I'm going to start with the cabbage. Put the fresh veggies on the bottom because they're going to need, the most time to cook. I make it a little different every time, depending on what I have. I'm fine having soup as a meal. Some people make fun of me because I can eat soup year round, even when it's warm outside. And the cabbage is gonna, it's gonna fill up a lot of space in the crock pot right now while it's fresh, but it's gonna cook down and shrink up and release a lot of cabbage juices into the soup to add to the flavor. Same thing with the celery and the onion. If you have fresh carrot, add fresh carrot. If you have regular bell pepper, you could add that, or you could omit the bell pepper if you don't like bell pepper. I have most of a bag of frozen mixed vegetables that I'm going to add in. You could use canned mixed vegetables, or if you just wanted to use like a can of green beans, a can of corn, a can of carrots. Use whatever you have. Now the red pepper shishitos are going to go in that I chopped up. They're thin skinned and they dry pretty quick. Some of them were like mostly dried, but they're going to rehydrate in the soup and add good flavor. Alright. And in my next thing I'm going to add is the frozen mixed vegetables. It was most of a bag. I just had used a little bit out of this bag for a recipe that I made. Put the frozen vegetables in. That has peas, green beans, carrots, corn. And I'll throw this away. And then I had a little bit of my homemade poultry stock. I know it's backwards for you guys on my camera. But a little bit of poultry stock that I had left over from a recipe that this was in the refrigerator. So I'm going to add that in. Next thing, let me wipe my hands off. Actually, let me wash them because I had carrots, onion and all that stuff on my hands. If you like a lot of meat, you can add more meat than what I'm adding. It's gonna have a little bit of meat, plus I'm adding beans, so the beans will give it protein too. Okay, next thing I'm gonna add, I have some dehydrated shallots. So I posted a video probably, I don't know, a couple weeks or a month ago recently of the shallot harvest, and then I put them in my dehydrator, and I felt like unfortunately the dehydrator got too hot for them a little bit, so some of them were a little bit more dried than I would have liked. I think that next time I might just freeze them unless I upgrade my dehydrator to one that has a temperature setting. But anyway, I'm still going to use them. They're alright. So I'm just going to put a little bit out. Don't need too many. The greens turned out just fine, but the bold part of the shallots are a little bit crispy. But it's okay. So they're going to rehydrate and add flavor to the soup. I have some of my homegrown tomatoes in the refrigerator. I'm gonna add those in a minute. First, let's go over here. I'm gonna go ahead and open up all my jars that I have here. Let me get my jar opener. Okay, so I got my jar opener. Have a quart of kidney beans and a quart of homemade poultry stock. I have a video on how I can the poultry stock if you're interested in learning how to make and can your own broth, or if you don't want to can it, you can freeze it. It's the last quart of kidney beans that I have. Okay, now I'm going to add the tomatoes. I think they're a little bit frozen on the top from being in the back of the refrigerator, but they'll thaw out. Frozen. At least my jar didn't break. Let me put them right here. I'll get something in a spoon or something in a second. Let me go ahead and grab it. Okay. Huh, frozen. It's okay. They'll thaw out and cook in with the soup. That's crazy. Okay, let me work on it in a minute. Giving me a hard time. I'm gonna go ahead and add the beef and the beef broth. And I pretty much buy this canned roast beef 4 times like this, where I'm gonna throw a soup together and I need protein for it if I don't have leftovers. Leftover meat. Alright, so I'm putting a quart of kidney beans in, along with the liquid from the jar. That's good for you. Okay, it has a lot of fresh veggies. This broth has some salt in it, but I'm going to add a little bit more just because. I'm going to put some black pepper. You can season it however you want. This is salt and black pepper. I'm just going to put a little, and then I can taste it later on and see if I think it needs more. I think it'll be okay because I know that broth has salt in it too. I like to put Italian seasoning in my vegetable soup. Sometimes I put extra oregano, extra basil, depends on how I feel. You could put a bay leaf in there if you wanted to. If you didn't have broth, you could use bouillon. It wants to come out. Let me see if I can. Wow, it's really frozen. Huh. Okay. If I would have realized that, I would have taken it out earlier, but it's okay. I'm going to go ahead and put the broth in. This is broth that I use chicken and turkey scraps to make. I'm pretty sure I had a turkey neck, and then the rest were like chicken bones and chicken skin and things like that I cooked down. And I need more liquid. So I'm going to rinse out my jar that I had my kidney beans in. You want enough liquid to at least cover it, because there's going to be liquid that comes out of the cabbage, so you don't want to top it off with liquid. But you need some. I also have leftover zucchini I'm going to throw in here. I had zucchini with tomatoes and meatballs. I ate all the meatballs up. But I had some zucchini and the sauce left in there. Okay. I'm just stirring it a little bit with a spoon. Not completely, I'm just stirring in the seasonings. I'm going to keep most of the fresh veggies at the bottom for now. Alright, I'm going to let the tomatoes thaw out and add them. I'm going to put the lid on it and let it cook on high. I'm going to let it go for 4 hours. Probably end up going for like, trying to think, 6 hours from now, because that's when I'll be back. So I'll just let it cook during that time. You don't need to, if you have a locking lid, you don't need to lock the lid. I just like to put the little metal things down. I don't pull it up and lock it. Even though it has a vent, I could lock it if I wanted to, but that's mainly for when you're traveling with it, transporting it. So let me put the lid back on the tomatoes. I'm going to leave them here on the counter next to my warm crock pot and then get all this stuff cleaned up. And I'll add them in once I'm able to get them out of the jar, right? So anyway, hopefully this gave you an idea of, one thing that you could do to meal prep easily. If you want more than just soup for a meal, you could add a sandwich or a salad or some fruit on the side. You could have, a smaller bowl and make the soup more like an appetizer or a side dish to some other things. But if you're like me and you love soup and you can eat it as a meal, let me know down in the comments. If you like to make kind of freestyle vegetable soups, let me know what your favorite things your favorite leftovers are to recycle and put in your soup. But thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully this quick video, I hope to bring you guys some more meal prep videos as we go through the beginning of the school year at least. So it really saves me when I'm busy. During the school year, I normally work 7 days a week and I try to garden and have other things to do. So it really helps me out, saves money and keeps me on my healthy eating, mission to meal prep. So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you know anybody who may want to try this recipe, whether you're making it for, a meal in a day for your family, or if you'd like to make this for your meal prep, or at least try it out, or, you can share it with them. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video here at Becky's Garden Paradise. Have a great day. Bye.